All right, what is up, everybody? And happy Saturday night. It's no better time to do a basketball draft than Saturday night or Sunday night or Monday or Tuesday. Anytime's a good day, really. And that's kind of the theme here. Look, I know the season's about to start, week one, not that far off. So it's kind of the last chance to get in on some of these best ball drafts, especially if you're like me, you love doing these slow drafts. You got to get in on them now because slow drafts are going to be capped pretty soon, and the hours have already been cut down from those 8 hour clocks to 4 hours. Still enough time though. I mean, we got a week and a half, maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm getting as much Underdog as I can. I love Underdog, and I'm not just saying that because we're proud to be sponsored now by Underdog. And of course, if you sign up because you aren't already a member of Underdog, sign up with promo code Endgame, get a 100% deposit match up to 100, 200, something like that. But so many great contests. I've been playing Underdog for years since they kind of came up, and I've been playing best ball for a while. I love best ball just because I love drafting. So if you like drafting too, you like maybe potentially winning money. Yeah, it's a good match. So my intention right now, let me just tell you what I'm doing tonight because I'm in a lot of drafts already, slow drafts, and then once in a while I'll squeeze in a live one. What I want to do is I want to, as you probably can guess from the thumbnail that you saw, I want to be a big dog. I want to run with the big dogs. So look, here's the lobby, and you see all the stuff you've known about Best Ball Mania for a while. They just opened up a couple new ones, which is always fun. Weekly winners, a little different, keep you involved throughout the season. Eliminators, I'm big on eliminators, and I'll explain that later. But you might not even notice it here. The bulldog, and it actually says for the big dogs, 100K to first. You're like, well, so what? The Best Ball Mania here is a $3 million prize. But look at the difference here. You have 677,000 entrants, and it's not quite capped yet. The Bulldog is a $500 entry, and it's going to be, I think, maxed at 1,000, and it won't even max at this point. So yeah, it's a much better chance that you can win. But of course, you could also say, well, you're competing against the guys who are serious. This is hardcore. And that's why I want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to join the Bulldog. Now, here's the thing, there's not a lot of big dogs around. So I'm in here and I'm waiting. I'm trying to join. You got a lobby here. So we're only half full. So I'm hoping that this happens. I'm doing the live draft, of course, 30-second clock and get through this probably in an hour. But we're still waiting. So I'm hoping it fills soon. And I'm thinking what I'll do is while I wait is go ahead and we'll do a Mania, unless you want to see something different. Yeah, I hope I can get them, but man, I don't know. We'll see if it fills. I'm hoping it tells me because I'm about to jump on. I'll do a live of some sort right now. And if the Bulldog fills, we'll go to the Bulldog. So let's see right now. What are we going to do? I don't want to just sit here and wait for it. 5 out of 12. So you see, I already have a few active ones. These are all slow drafts. This is on autopilot because I'm only one round left. Or I'm taking the last round. I got a couple eliminators. The last puppy before it filled up. So let's see. While we're waiting for the Bulldog to fill, I already have some eliminators. Those are interesting. But let's do a Mania here. We'll do another at least big prize pool entry. So let's see if this one fills up. Now, 25 bucks, that's not a huge hurdle to overcome if you're going to be, competing for this prize. I think it's great because it can appeal to both, the beginner, kind of casual best ball fans, people who want to try it out, get a chance for that prize. You don't have to be all in with your entry, and but you're still going to have people who are serious as well. Everybody wants that big prize, don't they? So let's see. We're already full. That's why I like the best ball mania. You can jump in right away. And here we go. Draft is about to start. I got the 9th pick, which is probably my very least favorite. Maybe the 8th. I don't know. It's tough. Now, quick reminder, or for those who don't really know, for Underdog, it's half PPR. Let me see if I can throw real quick here. Yeah, okay. We're all set. Draft about to start. So half PPR, and then you'll see here it talks about roster settings and everything. Show my other people. There it is. $25 gets you in. It is a tournament. And so it's not just winning your league. You want to advance, survive and advance, and try to get to these big prize pools. And let me just show you real quick, besides all the prizings. Yeah, see, half point PPR. Everything else is pretty standard. And then for your lineup, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 10 bench, 18 rounds total. So this is kind of how we mock typically throughout the offseason, what we've done all offseason, 3 receivers and a flex, except this is half PPR. All right. So here we go. We're off and running. Jefferson, Chase, McCaffrey, Kelsey at the 4. Bold strategy, not too crazy. I mean, you think for a best ball league, especially in a half PPR league, you want a guy like Ty Hill gets you those huge games, those chunk yards, but people like the security of Kelsey, which best ball is absolutely not about being secure, like in any way, but it is not a bad pick. And then let's see here at the 9th pick. Am I going to go with Bijan? Is he going to be there? There goes Eckler. And this is why I hate it, because look at receiver. All right. I didn't get a chance. All right. I'm not taking a running back because those 3 guys. No, I'm not going Chubb, and no running backs. And then Kelsey's gone. So here we go. Am I going Diggs, Brown, or Lamb? You know the answer to this already. Just because it's best ball doesn't change things. I think Lamb is the pick there. At the end, maybe I'll show you all my exposure rate, see how much Lamb I exactly have in Underdog so far this year. Diggs, I'm not even worried about Diggs. He's still in Buffalo. I don't care if he's happy or not. It doesn't matter as long as he goes out there and plays. So it's not like I'm down on him or worried about him or anything. I'm big on Lamb. And if I see the words Trey, Lance together in any of the comments, I'm just completely ignoring them. Not even going to address it. It's a good question. All right, so Carson wants to know, is it worth reaching for Bijan at the 4? I mean, are you talking best ball like this, or are you talking just a regular redraft? If you're talking a redraft league, yeah, it's worth taking Bijan at the 4. It really is. Now, the other consideration is you just go receiver, because if you assume it's Jefferson, Chase, and Hill or Kupp, do you go Hill or Kupp? I mean, either way, I don't think it's worth having a mental breakdown. I am, extremely bullish. You know that we're bullish on Bijan. So, man, go with your gut at that point. I know you just want to say take a receiver, but you can't say that Kupp was without risks. I mean, I think if Ty Hill is there, I'm taking Hill. But is Bijan worth? Yes. I think having that guy who could be that league winner at running back, and then once you're done with that, then, 2nd, 3rd round, receiver, 1, it's a regular, it's a redraft, half PPR. Yeah, well, there you go, even better. 2, you only start 2 receivers and 1 flex. Take him. Take Bijan. Not Bijan or bust, but yeah, absolutely worth it. No, I don't think you'll have any regrets if you take Bijan at the 4. All right, let me get this pick in. Let's see. So Diggs, Brown, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Pollard, and Chubb all gone. Here we go. I started with Lamb. Now, again, this is best ball. When a guy's going to have those peaks, those spike weeks, I'd better pick real quick instead of talking. I'm just going to time out here. Okay. That 30-second clock goes really quick, especially once you start talking. Okay. So let me tell you my thought process right there, my considerations. Sorry, not taking Taylor or Jacobs there just yet. Henry was a consideration, Barkley, but Barkley I don't see as valuable in best ball as I do in redraft. So I could have gone either way, but again, this league, this format, you're starting 3 receivers in a flex, even though tap PPR, Waddle gets you those huge games. And then the other guy I was considering was Olave. I have so much Olave, honestly, already in Underdog. That maybe is part of it, why I don't I didn't take him here. You would think I have more Waddle, but I've been drafting Olave over Waddle typically. It's close, either one of those guys. So that's not just my bias. That's an exposure thing. I want to try to differentiate just a little bit here. You see Mahomes and Hurts going off the board there late second round. For some reason in best ball, you will see those quarterbacks get taken sooner because I guess people feel like they have those. You don't want that consistency, right? You don't want that guy who will be fine in the later rounds. You want the guy with the big games, but you can still get that later. But honestly, because the fact that you don't have to worry about who to start, if you can mix and match two quarterbacks, and again, in best ball, if you've never played best ball, only take two quarterbacks. Taking a third quarterback is pretty much just a waste. It's just not necessary. I mean, there are teams that win with three quarterbacks, but it's rare. It's just not necessary. It is not, especially in a tournament. If two quarterbacks isn't enough, you weren't going to win anyways. Okay. So you don't need to take the best quarterback. You need a guy who's just going to have some big weeks. Look, a guy who honestly always gets high win rates, meaning that he's on the roster of teams that have won in advance and done well in best ball, is Kirk Cousins. Because even though he may be not your favorite real life quarterback, especially if you're a Vikings fan, he has those huge weeks because the defense in Minnesota sucks and because he'll throw for 300 plus yards on occasion. And so you're totally fine doing something later on with quarterbacks. I'm not saying don't draft an elite quarterback, but you don't need to go quarterback early. And I rarely will. So I like seeing these quarterbacks go off the board early. That's better for me. I don't like seeing these receivers go. Not that I expected to have Devontae Smith or Calvin Ridley fall to me in the third round, but here it is. We got Lamb and Waddle. So I'm going to take a quick peek again at running back. My guy Ramondre is still there. Gibbs is still there. Wide receiver. I cannot hardly resist DJ Moore, but I'm going to go Debo, and I'll tell you why. Now, one thing you notice in ADP, we say this all the time in redraft, ADP rankings or whatever platform, it doesn't really mean anything. You get your guys, and then at the end, by the time the end of the season comes, didn't matter where they were ranking. Best ball is different, at least in a tournament. In a best ball tournament, you're competing with thousands, and as you saw earlier, in this tournament, we're up to 677,000 other teams. You're competing against thousands, hundreds of thousands of other teams. You need to have an advantage. That advantage is either taking a player much earlier than everybody else, or it's taking a player that other teams did not have. And so if you're reaching and you're taking a guy before he should have, all the other teams that had that same guy, even if he breaks out, they took him around later. That means their team is probably better than yours because they still got that guy in round 4 instead of you took him in round 3, and they got somebody else in round 3 who was also just as good or better. So you just can't reach in the early rounds. You can't if you want to really survive and advance in the tournament itself. Is what I'm saying. Like, you might win your little 12-man league and get your money back, but that's not the point here. And so I like DJ Moore, but it was too early for him. Debo, of course, has that huge boom week potential. Got no problem taking him there. And I'll just say right now, the guy I'll take if he is there is right on where his average draft position is, 41, is Christian Watson. Talk about boom. That is him. Let me see real quick. Okay, Hawkinson, no tight ends right now. Tight end's another position. I didn't get Kelsey. I'm not taking a tight end. I'm not even looking. I'm not looking at quarterback. I might have to take a guy. Oh, there we go. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to take a guy I rarely take. Look at receiver. Watson is gone. I like Mike Williams. Man, I have 3 really good receivers. After this, I don't like these running backs. I might just go at the end here. That's what I'm going to do. And this shows you my mindset because I've already said throughout the offseason, I'm not taking a lot of Etienne in my redraft leagues, especially a full PPR league, but I'm taking him in best ball because I still think he can have big runs, big games, 1,000 yards rushing, score some touchdowns, and be really solid in a best ball league where I have to worry about the ups and the downs as much. And And the fall off at running back is steeper here, because again, this is where it's different. In a redraft league, I got like a Damian Pierce, maybe like a Miles Sanders. I really like for where you can get them in the middle rounds. But I don't like him as much in best ball, Damian Pierce especially, because he's a guy I think will be really solid and consistent, or like a solid RB2 that you can get late. But in best ball, I don't want solid quite as much. And I want the guy who really has the ability to get those huge games, in multiple touchdown games. I don't think that's going to happen as much for Damian Pierce. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking of. Same with a guy like James Cook. I tell you, I don't have nearly as much of him in best ball as I do in redraft. So that's my excuse for taking Travis Etienne after dogging him all offseason. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like the pick. I mean, it wasn't a reach. I don't know if I really think of him as an anchor. I don't personally view him that way. And a lot of people do think that he's still like RB1. I mean, he might be. I'm not ruling it out. Look, I'm not going to nail every one of my picks, the guys I'm on and guys I'm off. So I'm also very aware of the fact that this might be just a really good pick that I got. And then, no, to answer your question, not the Bulldog yet, because the Bulldog is not filled. Well, I'm going to check in. Let's see. Yep. See, that's the problem here is we need more big dogs. And see, people are actually leaving the lobby. So I'm going to have to alter the description there. So I apologize if you were expecting a Bulldog. I was too. I answered before I started getting onto the stream. I've been waiting for it to fill, and it's not filling. But you know what? I understand. Maybe people aren't ready to throw down right now. They're 500. It's a little easier to get in with 25. So, all right. So right now I got Etienne, Lamb, Waddle, and Debo. Pretty good. Now remember, best ball tournament upside, pure upside. We would talk about that anyways. We talk about just shooting for upside with your draft. Like, forget about drafting the safest team or the consistent team, or keeping guys on your roster all season. Like that, who cares? That's not going to help you win. In best ball, it's purely upside. That's it. Guys who have that high ceiling. All right. So I'm still just ignoring tight end altogether right now. I mean, a Kittle, Pitts. I do have a lot of Pitts in Underdog, but not right now and not yet. Quarterback, Herbert has fallen below his ADP, so I'm going to think about it real hard if he's there. But I still don't feel like I need to move on him. At running back, I'm Madison, Pierce, don't do it for me here. And Dobbins, it's too soon. Because if you look on the way back here, my pick is 64. His ADP 67. If he's there, great. If not, oh well. I can go receiver again because I still need a flex. And then I think I won't draft Jerry Jeudy. You know what? I don't love these receivers. But I also see that Herbert is gone. So I'll go Lockett. And I timed out. And it gave me Jerry Jeudy. That is why you set a Q. And that's why you don't talk while you're drafting. Oh, well. Let's hope Jerry Jeudy comes back in time. I swear I hit draft on Tyler Lockett right there. I swear it. Can we reverse that? Like in Zelda, you have that recall, like that ability where like is backwards in time. No. Okay. All right, so let's just ignore that. Let's pretend that didn't happen. We're fine. Don't worry. We'll get through this. I'm going to look for Dobbins if he's there. And I'm going to add him to my queue. Sanders is fine. Might need a better pick, though. Trevor Lawrence is a possibility there. I'll tell you my fallback quarterback is, if you look, Dak Prescott, he has big game potential. He puts up 300-yard games. I don't know why he's being ignored basically in best ball so much. I don't. But if Lawrence isn't there and I have to wait, I will wait. I won't get those guys. I'm a little nervous, honestly, about Deshaun Watson, just a little bit these days. I do like Dotson, but I don't think I'll have to go there. Let's see who's here. Watch, Dobbins will get taken right before me. That's pretty much what happens. Oh, Dotson. It was Dotson. Okay, well, here you go. So, like, once you get past this tier, there's some risk reward running backs. I'm going Dobbins. That's pretty simple for me. I'll wait on quarterback. Yeah. What can you do? It happens. It happens to the best of us. Yeah, that's true. At least I can take him at ADP. Hey, maybe he comes back in like 3 weeks and winds up being a stud. You never know. So we end up joining Vordor. This is Best Ball Mania 4. So another entry into the tourney. And honestly, because I have so many already, I'm gonna differentiate here. I'm gonna do some things besides having Jerry Judy that I wouldn't normally do because I don't want the same old, same old. Let's take a look here at the roster makeup. 2 running back, 4 receivers. Already said, I'm fine waiting in tight end. I'm fine waiting. Now, by the time my pick rolls around here, going to talk about, let's see, I'm at 81 next. Pitts would be a good value if he's there. Goddard is a possibility. He doesn't excite me as much in best ball. Solid, but again, look, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, not that boom potential quite as much as other guys, just because he's got 2 stud receivers on his team and a quarterback who likes to run and good running back. So Goddard is definitely a guy I don't like as much in best ball. I really don't have that much. In fact, you know what? Just forget it. I could still use some receiver depth. I'm starting to worry a little about Pittman. I mean, I already said I wasn't drafting Pittman much because I'm not sold on Anthony Richardson, which is why I didn't even talk about him with quarterbacks. So Hollywood might be a decent choice here. Quentin Johnson, I don't know. I mean, I know drops don't count against you in fantasy, but is he going to have enough of those big plays, big weeks? Are they going to be big enough? I feel like he makes some of those splash plays every once in a while, but how many 100-yard games do we really see coming for Quentin Johnson? So I don't know. I'm kind of souring on him a little bit too. I'd still like Elijah Moore. Sky Moore's not bad. You know, I like Dobbs, although I think he just got banged up, didn't he? Yeah, hamstring injury. Let's hope it's mild. And then we could also go for some more RB depth. Of course, here we see 5 straight running backs off the board, 6 straight running backs off the board. Everyone's getting their backup running backs now. This guy already has 3 running backs, so he took a tight end, went with Kittle. Okay, so there's a couple of good values here. There goes Connor. I'm going to add Swift to the mix. Pitts stands out, and that way I'm done at tight end until late. And Marquise Brown, you see there, 69. All right. Well, there goes Pitts. So either the value at receiver for Hollywood, well beyond ADP, or take Swift right about where he goes and go for that upside. I'm a few picks away. Hollywood won't be there. Swift probably won't. Sorry. The Judy pick means I got to go Hollywood. He can have big games. And then now I'll go running back because I got 5 receivers, 2 running backs. I'm not going to consider tight end based on who's there. Yeah, sorry, too early for Tua. Nope. Gonna go running back. That's what I tend to do a lot. I have been going some sort of early QB, meaning around 5, 6. If I have a guy who falls and is there, like a Herbert or a Lawrence, I'm not almost. I I think I have zero Pat Mahomes in Underdog, and I might have zero Jalen Hurts as well. And I know I have zero Josh Allen. That's just how I roll in these best ball tournaments. It's just not necessary. The proof is there over and over again. Drafting that QB so early, it doesn't pay off. You get that mid-round quarterback that has those big games and that big season. That's how you win. So I'll always go for a guy like a Tua, no, not Daniel Jones, like a Geno Smith, like a Jared Goff, Jordan Love. I'm going to have a lot of. That's what I'm going to do. All right, let's see. Swift, the only running back taken, of course, the only one that I really was interested in. Johnson Sutton. I feel like it's too soon for Evan Ingram, and he doesn't really get me that excited. I might just go receiver again. Deshaun Watson has been a pick. I have a lot of him early, but now I'm wondering a little bit. So I'll go. Yeah, I'll go with his top receiver here. Go Elijah Moore. Okay. 6 receiver, 2 running back. That's how we're going. Now, at this point, I'll wait on receivers for a while. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, Andre saying don't care for Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I think I might have been a little too high on him in the preseason. Originally, I still think he's a good value for where he's going, and I still think he will have top 10 fantasy finish. But yeah, I'm worrying that maybe we won't get vintage Watson anymore. It's a different system. I think it might take some time. I still like him for where he's going, though. I still like him for where he's going, and he does bring some rushing upside. And a good point to talk about some bringbacks in the schedule. Look, in the tournament, you do have to consider the late season schedule. I know that was a huge thing last year, and it's funny because it kind of blew up in everybody's face when the game that so many teams were built around didn't happen. And of course, that was like what the Bengals and the Bills and the game that got canceled and all that. Okay, so you can't just build for one game because even if that game happens and even if you expect all these players to go off, it doesn't mean it will. Like Bengals play the Chiefs, right? I want that. I want a piece of that game. It probably won't, but it's possible that game ends up 13-10. Like we don't know. Or, that the Chiefs scored 28 points and 3 touchdowns are Jerick McKinnon. Nobody has Jerick McKinnon. So, I mean, I don't want to go all in. I don't want to build just around the schedule. We did that somewhat last season and it blew up in a lot of people's faces. It doesn't mean it's a bad strategy, but again, we're trying to make some hard predictions about one specific week way in the distance. But I mean, look, the thing is you can't build around Bengals Chiefs because you're not getting those players at a discount. The Bengals and the Chiefs are the best, fantasy players already in the game. Packers Vikings, maybe that might be an interesting game to try to stack. And I already told you, I'm getting a lot of Jordan Love late as my QB2 and I'm pairing him with Romeo Dobbs. Or if I had Christian Watson early, I'm doing that a lot. And I like Kirk Cousins. So I'm kind of naturally already doing that. And in the other game, I think I might really consider, it's possible Falcons and Bears is like a sneaky shootout. Just saying, it's possible. All right, let me make this pick before disaster strikes again. Oh, too easy. I probably have way too much Brian Robinson this year, and I don't care. I don't. And best ball, look, maybe he doesn't get all the touches in that backfield, but he's going to be the guy who's going to, I think, score the majority of the touchdowns, especially on the ground. He's going to get some catches. This is half PPR, so it's not quite as important. Yeah, I love for where he's going. I just got him at pick 105. Got Brian Robinson, the lead running back on a team that's probably going to be better on offense than most people think. Now, to back that up, Charbonnet could be a sneaky pick here, although we'll see if he's available. And then I really am surprised Shane's ADPs keeps falling when Jonathan Taylor is still not a Dolphin, guys. I mean, he's not. Yeah, it might happen, but until it does. All right, so these people are this team here. Okay. But he did. He didn't take Tua. He was going to fall to me, but he didn't. But Dak's going to fall to me, right? Because all these teams already have a quarterback. I figure and hope I'll get one of either Dak or I'll just put Charbonnet in my fourth running back, which is a risky pick you don't love in a redraft league, but in a best ball league, the whole there he goes. But the whole thing, like if Kenneth Walker gets hurt, you have a stud, and you didn't have to pick him off of waivers, and you get all that production is very appealing, and especially the late season potential here. But there goes Charbonnet. There goes Rodgers. We got guys backing up their quarterbacks. I have not taken my first. All right. So even if I waited, I might not even get Kirk Cousins on the way back. So getting Dak at the 112. I'm going to do that almost every time. I am. All right, so we got Dak, we got Etienne, Dobbins, and Robinson at RB. I'm perfectly happy with that. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, some Denver receiver, Hollywood Brown, and Elijah Moore. I'm happy with that. And then tight ends to be determined. All right, now at this point, since I waited and we already have the top at least 10, maybe 12 tight ends off the board. Let's see. And one thing that's great about Underdog, y'all don't know, you can put this draft board live updating if you want to see the whole breakdown here. So there's Njoku, and see who has a tight end. And of course, people will be taking their backup tight ends before I start drafting mine. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, only 9 tight ends. So everybody doesn't have their tight end, but this guy has 2 tight ends. So that's the thing. This guy has none. So you just don't know. You don't know how people will draft. So if I'm waiting, which clearly I am, I'm taking 3 tight ends in this draft because I'm already pretty stacked with my receivers. My number 7, 8 receiver won't make as big a difference because they probably won't get in my on the scoreboard as often with the guys I took up the top, hopefully. And I want that variation here. So I'm going to take some upside flyers. So I am not drafting too many rookie tight ends ever in redraft, but I'm queuing up Laporta. We've heard a lot about him getting hype. I mean, he just needs a couple of big weeks. Higbee, a guy I might be more interested in compared to a guy like Schultz, because even though Higbee will have those weeks, he just completely disappears. It doesn't matter in best ball. As long as he has a couple of weeks where he actually shows up, and he has had those games where he get like 10 catches out of nowhere, or like 2 touchdowns. So I'm more interested in Higbee and Underdog than in redraft. Laporta the same. Komet less so. Chig, sort of. I only take him if he's beyond his ADP, which is 150, so I'm not even close to considering him yet. I love me some Juwan Johnson because I know he's going to score touchdowns. I just know it. Dulcich, because his ADP keeps falling, so now I'm taking more of him because everyone's just kind of dismissing him, even though the season hasn't started yet. And then Jake Ferguson, I think, is a nice pick here, and Irv Smith also because he won't have many huge weeks, but he can score some touchdowns. Forget Kincaid, and there goes Kincaid, and then Schultz not so much. All right, so I now have the chance to, with one more pick, maybe get a Shane, who is, Tuesday comes, Jonathan Taylor is still a Colt. This could be a steal. And there it is. I don't care if he misses week 1 because it doesn't matter in best ball. All right, there you go. Even better. Etienne, Dobbins, Robinson, and Shane. Now, I will say in best ball, just in fantasy in general, you don't want to project or predict or count on touchdowns because you can't predict touchdowns and vultures are there. But there is such a thing, I think, as touchdown potential and upside, touchdown upside. So we know certain guys will have a better chance to score touchdowns, and we know guys will get used more near the red zone in the end zone than others. So that's why in a half PPR league where, again, you're looking for the big weeks, and a lot of times that touchdown makes that big week or at least that productive week. And so I will go for a guy like Dobbins, won't catch many passes, but I think he's got a really good shot to score double-digit touchdowns. I prefer him in a format like this. And a guy like a Shane, you think, well, maybe he's not a goal line back. No, but he will get chunk plays because of his speed. And then that brings me to a guy who I maybe will get here, but maybe not. Damien Harris just came back after missing, and he scored a touchdown. Now, all the James Cook believers and people are freaking out. Actually, it's the James Cook haters that are like taking victory laps because Damien Harris scored a touchdown, like as if James Cook has zero value now because Harris scored a touchdown. But Damien Harris is a guy who could plunge in the end zone several times. And he does get chunk yards of runs too. He does make big plays. So he's a guy that now is interesting in best ball. Now that we know he's actually on the field. So let's see if he falls to me. And if not, my backup plan. Well, there we go. Harris it is. And you look at my guys, I put a tight end here. Yeah, Higbee goes right around there, but I'm not like stuck or sold on Higbee just specifically. These other tight ends are totally fine to me. In fact, I might just wait even longer on tight end. Yeah, too much Damien Harris. Yeah, well, I haven't drafted him as much lately. Early in the best ball season. I'm talking beginning of summer, before the NFL draft and all that. I was getting a lot of Damien Harris, and then I slowed down because I was worried. Got to see him play. Got to make sure he's good. So I think now that his ADP has gone down, I'm comfortable taking him again because also it's always about value, right? When you're in those tournaments, you see the ADP shift for certain players. So I have enough Damien Harris, but a lot of it came early. Yeah, is he looking like a 2.673? Well, I guarantee it's going to be a 2 quarterback, 3 tight ends, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to go 6 or 7 running backs. I feel stronger at receiver and a little iffier on my running back. So it might turn out that way because you know what happens, especially obviously you play a lot of best ball underdog. You know that once you get to a certain point, you just don't want those running backs. You got to pick and choose here. Like, look who's left. Zamir White. I'm not going to take him now because Josh Jacobs signed, but also I used to get him in the 190s. Now he's been jumped up to 168. Now he'll fall today, probably in this draft, but I was taking a ton of him when he was available at the end of drafts. And I still don't think he's an end of draft guy as of yet. And a guy I honestly used to take when he was in the 130s, 140s was Kendre Miller. And now look where you can get him. So now I'm more on him. And look, I'm sorry to say it, but I don't mind having Deuce Vaughn on my squad. So we'll see. And the receivers here, boom bust guys, good best ball type of players. Gallup, a guy who can make those big plays. Alec Pierce, I don't mind. DJ Chark, I actually have a lot of him. And there's Justin Ross. So let's see. We're at 153 here. I mean, at this point, I'm not as worried about a slight jump in ADP. We're talking about a couple of spots. It really doesn't make as big a difference. So I'm going to bypass Komet. I'm going to bypass Chig, even though I've got him in several leagues. I like Juwan Johnson, that huge touchdown red zone upside he's got with Derek Carr, who likes to throw the tight end. So it's not always just about value relative to ADP. Komet was the better value, but I think Johnson's going to be a better pick for best ball. I just do. Again, that's why you can't just put blinders on and say, this guy has the highest ranking. This guy has it doesn't always matter. Who do you think is going to perform the best? You're in 60 manias. All right, that's more than me. I haven't had time to do that many. I'm trying to also do a lot of different contests. I mean, the eliminators, now weekly winners, the puppies before they filled up. So yeah, let me go back to this NMB. What's up, NMB? Pitts, yeah, over Goddard. Clearly, like I said, Goddard solid in a redraft. He's kind of like set and forget. You don't have to worry, but I don't know that anyone this year is going to say he could be a league winner because we were really high on him last year. And I mean, if you look at just efficiency metrics and how good he is when he is out there running routes, he should be one of the better tight ends in fantasy. But he's competing with AJ Brown. He's competing with Devontae Smith, and he's competing with also, not competing with, I guess, competing with DeAndre Swift, a great pass catching running back now. And they had Miles Sanders last year. They're using him more as a, they do that a lot in a running quarterback. It's just targets. Okay, hold on, not timeout again. So I got 5 running backs. I got 6 receivers. I got Juwan Johnson. I got Dak Prescott. It is a time for a backup quarterback. It looks like it is. Not yet. I'm going to go with a guy I like still. Back up that tight end. Get Dulcich. I still believe. I still believe. I could be wrong, but look, he's my second tight end out of 3 in a best ball league. I think it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it. So I'm going to wait on Ferguson. We'll go for some shots here. Hunter Henry is a guy I'm a little intrigued by now as my last kind of pick here, maybe in a best ball. And then I want to say Zach Ertz. I don't know if I have the guts to pull the trigger on Zach Ertz. So I didn't take Stafford because I just don't have enough faith in him. Sorry, I just don't. I can't stomach to put him on my roster. Hal is definitely a guy that's interesting here, so I'm going to put him. Got that rushing upside. And, Young and Tannehill, both same bye week as Dak. Probably not the best idea. I do have one tournament where I did double up on bye. Some people like that idea. Get your quarterbacks with the same bye week. That way just get it all out of the way with. I don't know. I haven't done all the math behind all that, whether it's smart or not. I'm just going to keep taking guys who don't have the same bye week. So I think that's just a more sensible thing to do. Let's see here. Definitely not going to take Trey Lance to back up Dak. Going to go Hal if he's still there. That's what I'm going to do. It might fall right to me. Let's see. I'm definitely not taking Kyler Murray. If I don't get Sam Howell here, I'm waiting and I'll go Ritter or Stroud. I just will. Actually, and if I don't get Howell, I'll go Kendrick Miller because I just notice he's still out there. This is right where he falls, and that might finish me at running back. Round 15 here. Yeah, every point matters. I agree with that. I mean, I don't know. Some people make a case for it, but I can't wrap my head around how it's good to intentionally take a 0, like punting at a position. I I I don't get that. All right. Where are we at now? 4 picks away, and there goes Hal. That's all right, because you always have a backup plan. My backup plan is I take Kenny Miller, who's probably about to get taken. I'll wait on quarterback. One more round. For the record, anybody wondering, because you're seeing who's left out there, I would rather take Aiden O'Connell before I took Jimmy Garoppolo in a best ball league. Just for the record. Oh, man. Irv Smith was my – oh, wow, he did fall to me. All right, if Kendrick Miller got taken, Irv Smith was my backup plan. It was my plan C. So I'm loving this. There we go. Guy who could be the starting running back in New Orleans. Yeah, not worried too much. Again, don't need him to be the only running back in town. Don't need him to even outscore Jamal Williams or Alvin Kamara on the season. I just need him to have some good weeks. He's my 6th running back. So I think he can get some touchdowns. I think he can get some big plays. So that's it. Now, I still need a backup quarterback. I got 2 tight ends. I'll take a third toward the end. So I'm backfilling my queue here. I'm not looking at who I'm going to take next. I'm looking at who I'm going to take after my next pick, potentially. Looking at bye weeks. 11, 9. Hayden Hurst. I don't know. Maybe. I still prefer Hunter Henry for that red zone, end zone usage. Wide receiver. Look, Tank Dell versus Shaheed. Justin Ross. Easy to me to say not Dell. Shaheed just need to make a few big plays down the field. 184, 190, 205. I'm probably looking at guys who have 3-1, 3-2, 2-2-2. Only one other team only has 1 quarterback. Unless these guys take 3 quarterbacks, which one team has already done, I should be able to get one of those 2 quarterbacks on my next pick, not this pick. So I'm still passing on quarterback. These guys are ranked higher. So I'm going to wait. Instead of taking my 3rd tight end now, I would rather take one of these receivers. There goes Shaheed. Love Shaheed in best ball. So I'm targeting Justin Ross. Interesting. All right, Hayden Hurst went. Another tight ends who's ranked lower. Okay, so anybody wondering why am I taking my 7th wide receiver before my backup quarterback or my 3rd tight end? I mean, you could argue if you look at my receivers, guys, Lamb, Waddle, Debo, Hollywood, even Elijah Moore, is Ross ever going to see the lineup? Again, there's no lineups here, but also, yeah, those guys will have buys and they'll have down weeks. I mean, they will. Jalen Waddle will not be a stud every single week, right? We know this. A lot of ups and a lot of downs. Same with Debo. And of course, there's injury risk because of Debo. So I want a guy who still has that same sort of big upside. Maybe he has a touchdown, 2 touchdown game, and he scores a little bit more than Debo did that week. So I'm still going for that upside. And my 7th receiver, a guy like Justin Ross, still has more scoring potential and upside than any 3rd tight end I would take. So that's what I'm going for. It's not just about balancing your roster. That has nothing to do with it. I mean, of course, you need a backup at every position. But yeah, always go for upside. Okay. Good point. I had to look at that. Got to check out the bye weeks. Mr. Cross Examiner, you have a team you want created. Oh, okay. Well, I see some. Sorry, I'm going back now to the early comments. I'll try to answer these while I'm on the stream. I think I still have 9 picks. All right, Thomas. Hey, Thomas, hope you're still here. OBJ, Madison for Christian Watson, Pacheco. I doubt he'll accept, but it doesn't hurt to try. I don't know if he's an OBJ fan. Look, if you can maybe maybe don't even go for Pacheco. Just try to trade those two guys for Watson straight up, and you'll still come out ahead. Or maybe trade for a lower end running back. It depends what he thinks of those guys. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, I guess. Would I trade Cooper and MB? Would I trade Cooper for Brees or Godwin for Javonte? I would rather have Cooper than Brees. I would rather have Godwin than Javonte. That's not just a receiver running back thing. That's just I feel better about those players thing. All right, and Alex 10 team, full PPR. Have the choice of the 1-7. I mean, if Hill is still there, you take. I mean, any of those guys, if they fall to you, you're fine. But in a 10-team league, I'm still going with the Hill as my first choice. I might go Bijan as my second choice there. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But you're fine with any of those. All right, let's see where we're at here. There goes Ritter. And Alpha pointed out, yeah, Stroud does have the same buy as Dak. All of these guys have the same bye week as Dak. And so, you know what? I'm going to go with the starting quarterback left. Who doesn't? And that's Mac Jones. And it's fine because Mac Jones will have the occasional good game. I think Dak will be perfectly fine all season. I really do. And then another thing you don't have to do but could do is try to get some stacks there. Have one pick left. I got 2. I got 3. Let's see. I could go a third tight ends. Maybe I do Zach Ertz. I mean, if you look at the latest news, didn't play or not going to play in this preseason game, but he was activated from PUP. But man, I don't know. We always say don't draft ACL guys, and he's old, so Fant is another consideration here. Or I could go with the true sleeper to stack with Mac, and that is Mike Gesicki. And you call it 2673 unless I roll with Juwan Johnson, Greg Dulcich. I think I'm good at receiver. I'm actually really happy the way my running backs turned out there. Nobody on here is remotely appealing at running back. Not really. You got your Flyers, but I think I'm going to do it. My first and probably only exposure to Mike Gesicki. If the Mac Jones Mike Gesicki connection comes through, I'm good. Said no one ever. But that's what I did. All right. So that's the team. Quarterback, Dak and Mac. Running back, I'm going Etienne, Dobbins, Brian Robinson, Devonta Shane, Damon Harris, and Kendry Miller. I mean, none of those guys will be anything close to what you call a bell cow, and it doesn't matter because it's best ball. So I really like the upside in my running backs, especially for not having to draft anybody early. 40 was my first pick. 64 was my next. Everybody else outside the top 100. Receiver, filled with studs who could have big weeks. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Debo. Forget that pick. It was an auto. Hollywood, Elijah Moore, and Justin Ross. And then I got 3 tight ends who I think each will find the end zone several times. Hopefully not in the same week. That's Juwan Johnson, Greg Dulcich, and Gesicki. Yeah, I waited on tight end. And yeah, that's what I've been doing a lot of this whole draft season for Underdog. Thank you. Appreciate that. You know, is it my favorite team ever? No, it's probably not my favorite. I'll run through some of them real quick and then see if I can show you my favorite afterwards. But yeah. Is this a fact? I don't remember. I know it was a Liam one a couple years ago. All right, well, there you go. I got the good luck on my side. Got Gesicki. That's all I just needed. It was like the cherry on top. I just needed a Gesicki luck, I guess. As a Dolphin fan, that was it's just fitting, right? Gesicki finally does something for me as soon as he goes to the Patriots. All right. All right, and then I get to this one pick from being done here, but Mr. Cross Examiner wondering Jefferson, Mark Andrews, Ramondre, Rashad White, Ridley, Akers, Fields. Oh, okay, this is not in order you drafted him, I don't think. Lawrence, Fryermuth, Bigsby. And you said this was a 12-teamer? No, 10-team. Okay. Non-PPR. Okay. I mean, okay, so let's see. You got Jefferson, Ridley, London. I know it's 10-team, but that's really good. Fields and Lawrence. Rashad White loses value in a non-PPR league for sure. Akers slightly gains value, but I like you got Ramondre and Akers. Rashad White's your third guy. Bigsby. I like all those players. You got Andrews. That should be a really, really good competitive team. It should. I might have preferred in a 10-team non-PPR to take a different running back sooner instead of Rashad White, but still, that's kind of nitpicking there. So, oh, that's a good comment. All right. This one is wrapped up. I'll show you all the draft board while I get to the comments as well. Real quick here. I'll make sure this gets shared properly. Actually, I got to put this up. This is pretty funny. The first year playing, you got Randall Cunningham in the first round, and he broke his leg in week 1. That's such a fantasy football story. I've played every year since. Someone told me on best ball. Oh, okay. Do you like your draft for fantasy football? If you like to draft, you'll like best ball. You don't have to set lineups. And I know you go, oh, well, what if guys gets injured? It's going to happen to everybody. It is. And so this is why, again, you don't have to draft based on who you think is going to be there standing last man standing by week 17. That's not what it's about. You just have to draft the guys who you think are going to boom. It's like you get to draft a team full of your favorite breakout picks. That's what it is. That's almost essentially what it is. Because those guys, Derrick Henry, remember the year where he was on pace to break records and was leading all of fantasy and was the number 1 player by far. And then he missed the whole second half of the season. It was several weeks after he had been hurt and not played. He was still the top scoring player, and teams with him in best ball were still ranked number 1. He didn't need to play the whole season. Now that really crushed you in redraft. You had to find a replacement for Derrick Henry, but in best ball, he still paid off for you. So what I'm trying to say is it's okay. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You just pick guys you think are going to have huge weeks, huge spike weeks. All right, clarification here, and apologies if it was confusing anybody. I signed up for the Bulldog. I'm ready to draft a Bulldog team, but the Bulldog was not ready for me. So I signed up here, and originally it had 6 teams, and then 7 and 8, and it looked like we were filling up. And then as it went on, people are dropping out. So sadly, didn't get to do the Bulldog because there weren't enough entries right now tonight. I guess it's late. It's Saturday night. I get it, and it's a pretty big pay-in. It's $500. So I get not everybody's ready for that. I'm ready to do one. If it does happen, then I will stream it. But for now, sadly, I'm gonna take that money back. And I did the Best Ball Mania. So let me show y'all some of the squads I have. So Best Ball Mania, I only have 6 right now. I'm spreading out all my entries here. I've done a lot of different types of drafts. I mean, I would do more if I wasn't doing so many videos and baseball stuff during the off season. But look, this is the team that just got drafted. Let me show you as comparison to the first Mania 4 team I drafted. And I told you I like Jordan Love. I won't say I love Jordan Love yet, but I like Jordan Love. I went Herbert Love. I got Bijan at the 5. talk about him. Derrick Henry, 29. Felt that was a steal. Akers and Madison. Only 4 running backs in that team because I was so solid that Bijan and Derrick Henry were going to carry me, and Akers is my third. So then, look, talk about upside guys. Olave, Amari Cooper, Pickens, Mooney, Collins, Van Jefferson, Richie James, Mechie, and Marvin Jones. A mix of guys that I just want to have the occasional big week. That's it. And then I went 3 tight ends with Njoku, Kincaid, and Gerald Everett. The last one I did before today, I also got Dak. And I got that Dak Howell pair, which is what I almost pulled off today. And then in this one, I waited on running back. As you can see, I got Miles Sanders, Pacheco, Gibson, Jamal Williams, Algier, Tyjae Spears. Yes, that does say Leonard Fournette. He was my last pick. Why not? He comes in at the end of the season, scores a couple touchdowns. Yeah, why not? Olave again, Amari again, Mike Williams, Godwin, Gabe, only in best ball, Davis, Michael Gallup, and then Puka with Kelsey. As you see, I took Kelsey early, and Musgrave was the only backup tight end because I don't need a third tight end when I have Kelsey. So I got several there, just some puppies, just some slow puppies, some sit and goes. So let's see all together. I feel like I've done more drafts than this. I could swear I feels like I should have more. Look who I have the most of. It's Dak. Look who I have the second most of. It's CeeDee Lamb. I did take Mechie because of where he's been drafted a whole lot. If he comes through, it's going to pay big. But again, it's not going to be a huge thing. Amari, I love. Mike Williams, George Pickens, guys you've seen. Yes, Greg Dulcich because I go late tight end a lot. And Zamir. I believe in Ramondre. So anyways, that's just a kind of snapshot of some of the guys I'm taking the most. So if the Bulldog ever is ready for me, I will be ready for it. And meanwhile, I'm still doing my slow drafts, in which, by the way, that's a big reason why I don't have as many of these under my belt, because I just do so many slow drafts. I love slow drafts, and I don't have time for as many live drafts. But I did have time tonight. Wanted to get a big one in, try to get the Bulldog. It didn't happen, but I did a Best Ball Mania, and hopefully helped you kind of go through my thought process, look at the guys I like, why I'm targeting them more so than anything. All right, guys, and I know there's just some questions. Don't worry, we'll be back live again this coming week with more real drafts, real live fantasy football drafts, and you guys are going to compete with us. I don't even know if we have any spots. We might have 1 or 2 spots left. So if you go to flockfantasy.com/endgame and sign up at any kind of subscription there, you might have a chance to join us and draft with us and be live. And also going to still do some more Underdog drafts. We still have just a little bit of time left to do that. Thank you so much for watching and joining. Yeah, I want to get some more Underdog drafts in here. If you haven't signed up for Underdog for whatever reason now, do it now. Use promo code Endgame and check out that link that's in the description below. You don't have to go all in on these huge tournaments. Do some pick'ems, right? Do just a little eliminator, right? Do these drafts for $6. You have a chance to win some of these big prizes. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time.